Hello, my name is Abigail and I'm a picky gamer, and today we are continuing putting together this crazy family tree. I want to solve this mystery so bad. I want to know what happens at the end of this game. What happens when you complete this? Nothing? Do we get to find out why they died in a plane crash? Did somebody plan it? Wow, that's a tongue twister. Did somebody plan the plane crash? So I just finished going through my notes to try and figure out what in the heck is going on, because I literally forgot almost everything. It's been so long since I last played this. But when I was editing the video for the first time I played this, which if you haven't watched that video, I highly recommend you go watch it. Not because I'm biased or anything, but because there's just so much information. It's kind of a lot. And not kind of, it is a lot. But anyway, while I was editing that video, I realized I made a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes were made while I was editing. I was taking notes of things I needed to look up on the computer and things that I was realizing while I was editing, relationships and who could be related to who. So I think that... Where's the family tree? That is so... This is the original 5 kids. This was the matriarch and the patriarch of the Roottrees. These were their kids. And I think... I'm trying to figure out who's who. I think this right here... No, I don't know if that's her. Oh wait, yeah, so I just finished reading this. So I think that Lauren, which if you remember, Lauren is the granddaughter. So she belongs to one of these. One of these is one of her parents. And Lauren has a son, and I'm pretty sure that her son is the guy who came up with this masterpiece. I think that's her son. I think that's Lauren's son. I think this one's Lauren right here. And I think that's Miracle. So now we gotta do some digging. But I remember before I got off last time, I had discovered how to use this. Let me see if I remember how. What book was I looking up? Oh, it was the diaries, right? Why did I just close that and then open it back up? How I get back to the diaries? There it is. A Life Between Wars. So, we have a lot of reading ahead of us. So get yourself a snack, get yourself some water to stay hydrated. I'm gonna read you a bedtime story. A Life Between Wars, excerpts from the diaries of a Roottrees. Lauren Roottrees. Why did I say that so weird? The below are notes and observations you made while skimming through Lauren Roottrees' diary pages in A Life Between Wars. Lauren Roottrees is on the notable Roottrees list in your evidence. Do I need to read any of this? Yeah, she was the granddaughter of Elias and Gwyneth on her father's side. Okay, so her dad is a 5-piece. Her mother's family was called the Coastals, but she hardly ever mentions them. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna take note of that before I forget, because I will forget. Her father, who she always refers to as Pop, was the head lawyer for the Roottrees Candy Company, helped write a legal document called the Clanced Trust. Okay, look that up too. Clanced. I've never heard that word before. What does that mean? Clanced Trust. And he was a lawyer. It's clear from context that wait, did I finish reading all that? I didn't finish reading it. I didn't read this. The book was published in 1965 and consists of diary entries that stretch from 1940 to 1965. Holy crap. That's a long time to be keeping a diary. This has to be from multiple diaries then. The most important event that much of the diary and Lauren's thoughts revolve around was the loss of her husband, Jacob. Jacob died in the final months of World War II while Lauren was pregnant. This left her to raise her son, Clark, alone. Lauren never remarried and only had one child. Oh, so Jim is not her son. Let me write that down. It's clear from context that the Roottrees have internal shorthand names for the different generations of their family. Lauren uses them often. 5 pieces, the first generation of children by Gwyneth and Elias. Lauren's father was in this generation. The next generation, Lauren's generation. The free spirits. The generation after Lauren's, including her son. Maybe her son is Jim, but he changed his name or something to be rebellious or something. Who knows? An entry entitled Complaints from Lauren Roottrees' diary, written in 1953. This entry seems to focus specifically on one of Lauren's family members, Gwen, who is on the notable Roottrees list. It seems everyone has something to complain about. Gwen, as an only child, complained of loneliness. I told her that being expected to watch after 3 younger brothers didn't feel like a blessing, but it fell on deaf ears. Okay, so Lauren is the oldest of 4. I'm writing all this down because I will. Oh wait, why am I taking notes on my phone? I'm such an idiot. I have this. Oh my gosh. How do you start a new page? Can you start a new page? Oh, here it is. Add page. Okay, so we're gonna call this Lauren Roottree, and everything relating to her we're gonna put in here. So Lauren's dad was a 5-piece. She called him Pop. Lauren is the oldest of 4. Wow, I misspelled that bad. 4. Only girl. That doesn't sound right. I'm gonna put she's the only girl. Her son's name is Clark, but could he have changed it? During the summer where I went to stay with her and Aunt Margot, I hoped she would be the sister I never had and that I'd do the same for her. I even tried to dye my hair blonde to fit in with the 2 of them. What a mess, but she just complained to her I was the lucky cousin. Now she's off living the glamorous life while I'm stuck here with Clark. I must admit, seeing her everywhere contributes to my unhappiness. Her visage stares at me even now from my coffee table. She gets to be in starlet and tell tales of how she gallivants around the world, kissing the likes of Harrison Lane and Wild Bill Williams. She's the first Roottrie woman to be anything other than a housewife, and I am jealous. Why did I say that so weird? And I am jealous. If I were not a single mother, could I make my own way in this world? But I'm off topic. A girl with all the luck in the world was jealous of me. And now, though I have been undoubtedly burdened by terrible tragedy, I am also lucky to be born to a family that can support me for eternity. I can raise a child without worry, but I said that weird too. I can raise a child without worry, unlike countless other widows. If any of them were to hear me complaining, they would rightfully scoff, just like I do at Gwen. Okay, so Gwen is the actress lady, and from what it sounds like, she didn't really have that great of a life. From the outside, it looked like that, but from the inside, really wasn't that great. She really wasn't that famous. And she ended up divorcing that guy, Wild Bill Williams, before the birth of her second kid. So she only had 2 kids with that guy. And so that means that has to be her. That has to be Gwen. No, wait, this is the 5 pieces. Wrong picture. Where is it? This is Gwen right here. She looks a lot like the girl who played Rose in Titanic. What's her name? I looked it up and I already forgot it. For the last video, I looked it up. Kate Winslet. She looks a lot like Kate Winslet. I really hope this isn't AI generated. I really hope nothing in this video game is AI generated because I do not want to support AI. If you know that there is anything AI generated, please let me know. Okay, so that one's done. Let's move on to the next one. An entry entitled Dynasty from Lauren Roottree's diary, written in 1958. It focuses on the day her grandfather Elias announced he would step down as president of the Roottree Candy Company and the meeting to determine his successor. I wish I had been a fly on the wall today. Clancy told me that everyone got quite heated. Granddad was furious none of his sons would take over as president, but that's what he gets for holding on to it so long. With architects, preachers, and lawyers, nobody's got time for candy. So with the 5 pieces refusing to step up, it came down to us next gens. Pop argued at length that the company should stay with our branch of the family, since we still have the Roottrees name. I'm not even sure Clancy would have wanted it, but he's the one who was volunteered. Instead, it ended up going to Zach. Even though his surname doesn't match the candy, he's the firstborn son of the firstborn 5-piece. I'm not sure how that's relevant to running a company, but Granddad has always had very particular views when it came to his bloodline. I asked Clancy if it ever came up that a woman could take over. After all, Angie's older than Zach, and I'm next oldest of us all, but he just laughed. I'll never forget the cuss words Pop used when he told Ma it wouldn't go to us. Mother, ever the quick-witted, at least with catty remarks, countered back maybe they wanted it to go to the only member of the family who looks like he samples the product. So that means he was chunky, he was fat. So that means this has to be him. So he's the firstborn son of the firstborn son of the firstborn of the 5 pieces. Let's make a note of that. Where's my journal? Okay. I'm gonna add another page. I'm just gonna put important info. Zach is the firstborn child of the firstborn child firstborn 5-piece. That sounds better. Okay, so you know that. So that means let's go to the family. Wait, did I get all their faces? I did get all their faces. Okay, so I think let's go to the board. Okay, so these are the matriarch and patriarch of the family. We know her name is Gwyneth, but I don't know. Wait, it's with a Y. I don't know what her maiden name is. So once I find her maiden name, then we can put that up on the board. So they had 5 kids, so that means that whoever the heck this is, this must be Zach. Where's Zach? Put Zach. Oh crap, there are 2 Zachs. Let's keep reading. That's the wrong thing. That's the wrong thing. There it is. An entry entitled Sam from Lauren Roottrees' diary written in 1963. From a previous entry, you learned that Elias Roottree had given in to his wife and announced that Sam, an obscure relative, was to be included in family gatherings. Gwyneth had been pushing to include Sam for quite some time. Lauren writes, "Why Sam? I have many distant relatives I've never met. After all, Granny had sisters and Granddad had a brother, Tude. But Tude? Why did I say Tude? But I was told trim their branches from the family tree. So why is Sam special? Nothing adds up, and I'm not the only one to realize." Angie summoned all the next gens to a secret meeting in Zach's office. Gwen's in Paris, but the rest of us, including Miracle's boys, spent ages trying to unravel the mystery. I didn't recognize Sam at Uncle Junior's wedding to Patsy last year. At the reception, when I asked who Sam was, Pop shushed me and said it was complicated. Clancy swore he saw Sam working alongside the farm hands, E.C. and John, when he used to drive past the old Anderson farm on his way to work. Upon hearing that, Zach checked the records and managed to confirm all 3 are on the books. Eli, Miracle's youngest, not my brother, even chimed in. Apparently, when he was riding his mini bike alongside the farm a few weeks ago, Sam gave him some old tools and taught him how to make the bike's engine faster. None of us think that proper for a multitude of reasons, but Eli certainly seems thrilled. At the end of the day, nothing explains why an outsider has cozied into family affairs, especially one who works on the farm of all places. Whatever happened to blood is thicker than syrup? Why is Granddad making an exception now? Probably 'cause that's his kid. He probably had a side piece, a side chick. Okay, let's make a note of that. There was a dude named Sam who was a farmhand, and where did he work? On the old Anderson farm? That's what they said. If they're referring to the farm as the old Anderson farm, that means that Gwyneth's maiden name is Anderson. I swear I read Anderson. Where is it? Where is it? I'm not crazy. Where is it? Here it is. The old Anderson farm. At the... Whoops, I didn't mean to capitalize that. At the old Anderson farm. Sam is an obscure, distant, maybe not so distant relative that was allowed to be in meetings after... Did I do 2 spaces? No, I didn't. After Gwyneth begged or pushed, they use the word push, not beg, pushed Elias to allow it. Okay. And then there was some other information. Eli. Miracle youngest son is named Eli, and what's her name? Lauren has a brother who goes by Eli as well. And then Miracle got married to a girl named Patsy. There we go. Who the frick is Uncle Junior? He has to be a 5-piece, right? Our last page, yay. One of the final entries called Clark from Lauren Roottrees' diary, written in 1964. Clark's getting married, and in my opinion, far too young. He's barely 18 for God's sake, and Danielle isn't much older, but openly confronting them would make me a hypocrite. After all, Jacob and I got married at 16. Clark, like the rest of his generation, is a free spirit. What else do you call a group of kids growing up with more money than any one person can spend? They all aspire to be musicians and artists and dancers and all sorts of nonsense. The only one who has any discipline is Carl, but that's because Pop forced Clancy to send him to the academy. Maybe I'm just getting old, but our generation was never so bad. My brothers all seemed to pursue passive knowledge, and the most rebellious thing any of us ever did was bring home someone who would be illegal to marry if we lived anywhere south of Pennsylvania. Pop seems to have gotten over it because Edward is set to take over his department once he retires. And as for me, my first published book, Swashbuckle My Heart, is based on the pirate stories I used to invent with Jacob when we were walking in the woods after school. I think he'd be proud that Clark and I are carrying on his name. Even my cousins are doing well. Zach's not a bad president after all, and his sister seems to be doing a good job raising her twins. Gwen is Gwen, but at least she came out of the divorce with her head held high. She even told us she might come home next year so we can meet her kids. But the free spirits in any other family, they'd all end up on the streets, even Clark. Wow, she just dissed the heck out of her own son. So, let's go back to Lauren. Clark married a girl named Danielle when he was 18 and she was a bit younger. Let's save. They go back to important info. So there's another. The only one who has any discipline is Carl. The only, what did she call them? Free spirit kids? Yeah, free spirit. The only free spirit kid who has any discipline is Carl. Is that what his name was? Yeah, Carl. Pop Lauren's dad forced Clancy to send him to the academy. That sounds like psychological torture. Usually in this day and age, whenever you got sent to something called the academy, that wasn't anything good. Pop seems to have gotten over it because Edward is set to take over his department once he retires. I'm highlighting this whole area, but this is a major diss right here. But the free spirits and any other family, they'd all end up on the streets, even Clark. I'm highlighting that because that burn is just so good. Let me go back to the family tree. And where did I put that guy? Zach? Okay. So he was the second president. Okay, let's look up Watchman of the Year, because I remember Carl Roottrees, the Roottrees sisters' dad, he got this award. Business Watch magazine is a magazine focused on companies, CEOs, and the economy. They have been around for over 100 years in one form or another and will often write about major changes in management at famous companies. Every year they offer an award to a prominent businessman who has furthered the field. They call this Watchman of the Year. You find through a few searches that two Roottrees have been featured as Watchmen of the Year, Elias Roottree and Carl Roottrie. Business Watch does not host any online archives on any site you can find via spider search, though you may be able to find individual articles and issues through your periodical search. That's what I was thinking. Okay, so go here, Business Watch. Oh, I have to put in keywords. I guess Elias Roottree. Elias Roottree was awarded Watchman of the Year in 1936 for his accomplishment of rolling out 5 pieces to a global market. Notes on the article and a scan someone made of the cover have been added to your evidence. Where? Oh, okay. 1936, Watchman of the Year. So this is Elias Roottree. Elias Roottrie was voted Watchman of the Year by Business Watch in 1936, and a painting of him appears on the cover. The magazine says he was voted Watchman of the Year specifically to recognize the global rollout of 5 pieces. Inside the article is a timeline of 5 pieces. 1908, Elias forms the Roottree Candy Company after marrying his wife, who inherited a maple farm. Okay. During the period before 5 pieces, the company is barely profitable. 1909, Elias has a daughter, the first of 5 children. 4 more follow, leading to Elias invents 5 pieces, where each of the 5 flavors is chosen based on the initials of his 5 children, 1 flavor per child. 5 pieces are first sold in some Pittsburgh markets. 5 pieces are rolled out to all of New England. The new recipe and flavor is finalized, and the candy begins nationwide distribution in department stores and other shops everywhere. The Roottree Candy Company purchases every available maple farm in Pennsylvania. Dang, that's a lot. In preparation for the global rollout. With the help of his son, Elias Roottree Jr.'s architecture firm, a new industrialized factory and warehouse are built in Butler County. Production is tripled and worldwide distribution begins. There is also a What's Next section that claims Elias is going to pivot to ensuring his company's legacy and that the Roottree Candy Company remains a family business. Plans to do this with the Clance Trust. Oh yeah, that's what the Lauren's dad, the lawyer dude, that's what he wrote. Okay. So, let me go here. Now I know for sure that this is Gwyneth Anderson. We know that this is a girl. I don't know. We know that she has blonde hair. That's probably her. No? That's not. That's probably her. I don't know. I'm just putting that picture there to remind myself. Okay. That's a lot of information that we got from that one search. I need to write a lot of stuff down. Let's make a new page titled Elias Roottrees. Elias Roottrees. So maybe I should just copy and paste all of this. Hold on. Can I not highlight all of that? Bruh, I want to highlight all of it. Let me. Highlight. Can I do Control C? Oh my gosh, I can. Oh, you can only highlight. Like, oh, it did it. Holy crap. There you go. Oh crap, the dates aren't separated. Oh well, you can't have everything. Instead of Elias Roottrees, Carl Roottrees. Carl Roottrees was voted Watchman of the Year in 1987 for his work with Root. The cover and a summary of the article has been added to your evidence. Yay. Where is it? There it is. Oh, that's Carl? He looks like, oh man, what's that guy's name? Not Chris Evans. But is it Chris Evans? No, it's not. He looks like the dude who plays the prince in Enchanted. I'll insert a picture of him in editing. But that's who his face reminds me of. I really hope this isn't AI. Carl Roottrees grabbed wow, that was a stutter of the century. Carl Roottrees grabs life by the roots. That doesn't sound good. Carl Roottrees was voted Watchman of the Year in 1987, and a photo of him appears on the cover. According to the cover, Business Watch is the magazine for and about corporate leaders and has ongoing coverage of who's who in the corporate world. Carl was chosen not for his work at Roottrees Candy, but rather a clothing company, Root. There's a brief history. Before they married, Carl's wife Brenda was a fashion consultant. When Raina was born, Brenda retired to become a stay-at-home mother. Looking for a creative outlet, she spent any free time she had at the sewing machine. Raina's new clothes were a hit with other parents, including Carl's cousin, Jim Roottrees, a notable singer who had a young daughter around the same age as Raina. Word spread. By 1982, Brenda's patterns were being copied by other brands. Seeing the demand, Carl and his second cousin, Ernie Jr., who had just become president of Roottrees at the time, spearheaded Root. Other blood relatives, who have a say in the company's finances, refused to fund anything other than candy, so Carl personally spent his entire inheritance to bankroll the clothing company. When the profits began to appear, however, the rest of the family changed their tune. They repaid his investment, and now Root exists under the umbrella of the candy company, and they all benefit. Per tradition, or perhaps superstition, new clothes always debuted the way the first ones did. Raina became their catalog's cover model. As she grew, the product line expanded to older kids as well. Her younger sisters were then recruited to show off the baby clothes. Carl was voted Watchman of the Year primarily for his personal gamble and the ensuing payoff. Okay. Also, our ongoing coverage of who's in the corporate world. Oh, okay. Never mind. So, I guess I need to make a page for Carl. Name this page Carl Roottrees. Okay, I'm gonna make another page. I'm gonna title this page Root. We're gonna put all the information about Root in here. So that's why Raina was always on the cover, because that's how they started the company. And then important info. Before Carl was president of the candy company, his second cousin Ernie Jr. was president. Where is his face? There it is, right there. He's not the CEO. I don't know what you call him. Oh my gosh, I have baby as an occupation. Wow. Brenda. I think she's the only Brenda. Yeah, so that has to be his wife. Okay. So I just need to find out his occupation. Okay, so we found all that information. So now let's search up the other stuff I wanted to search up. Let's look up Miracle Network. You find a website for the Miracle Network, a production company run by the Miracle Roottrees estate. It's quite bare bones, but has the following blurb. Witness the testimonies of the Miracle's Roottrees. Miracle Roottrees arrived so late in his mother's life that doctors swore he wouldn't survive his first year. His mother and father Elias and Gwyneth named him Miracle because they thought him impossible. He was younger than his brothers and sisters by over 14 years. With a birth that late, the final child of his generation was nearly torn apart by countless health problems, but still, with the power of God on his side, he persevered. He triumphed over these complications and even regained his sight to spread the healing word of the Almighty. 23 years later, Miracle Roottrees Jr. arrived and became the famous family's second vessel for the higher power. At 18, he unburdened himself from the Roottrees name and took his father's testimony to a whole new level. Via the power of television, Miracle Jr. spread the gospel across the entirety of New England. He has since left the life of glamour and glitz behind to reach those places that need it most. The power of the Lord coming to a town near you. Below the blurb is a flyer about the tour, which is in your evidence. Where is it? There it is. So this is... Wait, these are two separate? Oh, so this is his son. And that's Miracle. Wait a minute. So there's a Miracle, the original, the Miracle Jr., the Miracle, the third. There are 3 miracles. Let's go here. So we know that he's the last baby. So this is Miracle. Where is... I think that's him. I'm pretty sure. Miracle. Yeah, there's 3 miracles. Oh, great. I think we'll put preacher. Oh my gosh. I locked in 3. Oh my gosh. I am so happy. Wait, what? You've also locked the following optional entries. Yay. Oh my gosh. Yes. I am a good detective. We know that this has to be Miracle the Second. That's a crazy name. And this has to be Miracle the Third. I don't have a picture. Is that him? Is that him? That can't be him. Wait a minute. No, this is him. And then this kid also. That could be him. This could be, what's his name? Miracle the Third. And they're both preachers. Preacher. So I need 3 more blood relatives before they lock in again. Preacher. And his wife, Nicole. Oh crap, there are 2 Nicoles. Dang it. So now I can add more photos. So let's add the photo of that. Making progress, slowly but surely. Why didn't this one lock in? Oh, because I don't know his dang He has to be the last one. I did it again. Man, I'm a genius. Yeah. Oh, she's back.
You're on a roll. I'll try to keep that momentum going. Carl's office was a mess, thanks to some burst pipes.
Were they burst pipes, or was it somebody trying to get into some documents?
But I unearthed a photo from a 1970s Roottrees reunion. I also found some important-looking papers.
Nice.
You've traced 9 blood relatives so far. I'll have more to share after you find 9 more.
What? What? 9 more? Oh gosh. Well, I'm doing really good. So instead of being crushed, I'm gonna be enthusiastic. I can do it. I did it once, I'll do it again. Is that a teddy bear? I just realized there's a teddy bear on that chair. Okay, so let's look at this new evidence. Oh wow. This space has gotten so much bigger. The area has had to zoom out so much more because there's so much crap on this desk. Look at a sad little stapler right there. And the sad little 2 pencils. Okay. So we got this. This photo was tucked inside an envelope with a letter beneath a candle in the corner of his office. The letter says, "To Carl and Brenda, I'm sorry that you were unable to attend the funeral. It's traditional to have it as soon as possible. And Ernie, more than anyone else on earth, knew how busy your job can be. I've enclosed a Shiva candle identical to ours if you'd like to pay your respects, though it's not expected for those outside of the faith to do so. Ernie was a man full of love, not only for his family, but for his family's legacy. He had an immense amount of pride for the work you 3 did together, as well as how Carl has carried on for him after taking over. As for myself, it isn't possible to express my gratitude enough for rescuing us from the panic and burden of endless bills. Though we caught it too late for him to get on the donor list, the company took care of us beyond our wildest expectations. It went unsaid at the time, but Ernie and I knew it had to have been Carl that convinced the trust, and that it was no coincidence that happened shortly after your visit, Brenda. Up until the end, Ernie and I had to stay strong, especially for Nicole's sake. We could never have done that without the 2 of you fighting for us. Much love, Debbie." Okay. Vote for Stephanie Jones for City Council. Better for Butler County. Butler County is where they have the, what's it called? I think that's where the original production plant was for the candy. Or that's where they moved it to. I can't remember. This was buried under a ton of other mail that Carl left in his inbox. It had a handwritten note attached that seemed personal. It is a flyer about a candidate for local office, Stephanie Jones. On the back is an excerpt from a newspaper article from the Butler County Times about her campaign. Stephanie may have grown up in an unconventional family, to say the least, but in her words, it was still full of love. And now, 22 years later, with a baby of her own due around Christmas, her message for voters is simply, "Love is our future." The handwritten note says, "Carl, I know we don't see eye to eye when it comes to the candy company, but if you could talk to your girls about putting out a statement supporting Stephanie, she could use the publicity your daughters bring. Don't let our conflict spread to the next generation. CM." Okay. So it was this guy. He was the one writing. Wasn't he? Because whoever wrote this note wasn't her writing it. Who dat? This photo has a note attached from your employer. Here's a bonus. When I pulled the water damaged picture of the free spirits out of the frame, this fill out too. Written on the back of the photo is, "Couldn't make the reunion. Wishing you well from Paris. Gwen and the boys." Who are these mother truckers? Okay, what else? Oh, this. Oh my gosh, so many faces. So many faces. So many faces. So many faces. Oh wait, we already have that face. I guess I'll click on it again. I think that's Miracle the 2nd. This photo has a note attached from your employer. Every 20 or so years, the Roottrees would hold a big reunion and recreate an old family photo. This is the one from the 70s, and Carl's the teenager in the middle. Sorry about the water damage. A pipe burst in Carl's office. On the back of the photo in childish print writing, it says November. There are also a large number of cursive signatures. They include Bonnie, next president Guy Hudson, Ernie Jr., Caroline, Gwyneth M., Gwendolyn, Miracle Jr., Jim Roottrees, Clark, Carl, and Eli M. Okay, so Jim Roottrees is not Lauren's son. That was the big question I wanted to get answered, and it is not so. I have no idea who Jim is. I think that's Jim. I don't know. I have no idea who's who. I know that this is definitely the junior guy, so let me go lock that in. Wow, I didn't expect to be zoomed up all up on Carl's face. Okay. So, there are some optional photos for this Carl dude. Miracle Jr. So that picture, and where is it? Okay, so that, and then I think this is also Miracle Jr. right there. Miracle. They're OG a Miracle. Okay, I think I'm going to end this video here. My voice is very tired from reading so much, and we made a lot of progress. It doesn't seem like it, but we did. So thank you so much for watching. I can't thank you enough. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it, and I can't thank you enough for your time and watching this video. Bye-bye.